I was out there and I don't know what you did, but what I did when I was out there serving cats, that bullshit, I was killing cats. And I've probably killed some people. You know what I'm saying? And every drug dealer in the world, the typical black man story, you don't think that way because you're not actually seeing death, but you serving it. My mom died off crack. You know what I'm saying? So whoever sold her the drugs is a murderer. You know what I'm saying? So does that make me a murderer because I sold crack at once upon a time? Was I a hustler? I had to escape my environment by any means necessary. Does that glorify the things that I shouldn't have done? Bipping is just another asset, another thing that we know we should not be doing.
Welcome back to another episode of the Big Dog Talk Podcast. It's me, the one and only, your boy, Big Charles, in the building. You heard me? Yeah. Today's episode is different than any other episode that I usually do. Why? Because we're going to talk about the bipping, the car theft that's going on in the Bay Area, right here in Oakland, California, and in San Francisco. But before we get into that, though, I want you guys to connect with Tyranny, the owner of Winky Dinky Dogs. But listen, this guy's not an average guy. Can I go ahead and read? Because I've done my homework.
Yes, sir.
I've done my homework. This guy's a legend. Listen, an underground MC who was formerly from Fillmore, California.
Exactly.
Am I talking heavy right now already?
For sure.
You wasn't just a regular MC, but you was a battle MC, meaning that you got bars.
Oh yeah, always.
You think
still,
you still got
still
it?
got it.
Okay.
Still got it.
So you was a battle MC. You went on tour all over the world.
Yeah, from a group called Digital Underground. I come from a group, Digital Underground. You know,
This is not a regular podcast. So
it's the Big Dog Podcast. The Big Dog. I'm with the big dog.
Talk heavy then.
You know what I mean?
We not listen. You went from being an artist,
Yes, sir.
being a battle MC, traveling all over the world. Correct me if I'm wrong. You was back in the Tupac era.
Yeah. So I took, if I'm not wrong, which I'm not, but I took Tupac's spot in the group called Digital Underground. I was founded by a cat named Greg Jacobs, Shock G, who was Humpty Hump. So I came from, Fillmore and landed in Oakland, and he saw me rhyming and he put me on, for real. Rest in peace to Greg Jacobs, Shock G.
My point I'm making is legend. Credible here in the Bay Area. This is not a regular podcast. This is what I want you to see.
It's the big dog.
Listen, this is valuable content. I told you guys if they don't inspire me, I don't even want them on the show.
You heard?
This king is a man of many hats. Not only is he an MC, an artist, but he's also a dope entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. You understand me? So it's only right that we connect to Tyranny first before we dive into the main topic today. Tell us about yourself right quick. Where are you originally from? I know I said Fillmore, but give us a little history about you.
Born in San Francisco, California. My mom's is from Mississippi. My father.
Wait.
Yeah.
Big Charles from Mississippi.
Yeah.
Shout out to Waveland, Middletown, Mississippi. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. All right.
Jackson.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Moms came from Mississippi. My father by way of Chicago and San Francisco. So, hailing from San Francisco, Fillmore to be exact, not to mention Haight Street, you know what I'm saying? Because my mom's was a black hippie. So, I got the best of both worlds as far as California being a black kid here raising and out here in California and just loving life, living life. And my mom's, she was a great woman. And my father's an awesome dad. And here I am. I'm a product of two great humans.
A product of two great humans. That's a doggy treat. That is a doggy treat. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What was it like growing up in Fillmore? Because I got a homeboy from back in the day, because I used to come to California every summer.
Mm-hmm.
And his name is, shout out to Corey. He was one of the flyest, smooth talkers I've ever met to this day. This dude can, respectfully, when I was younger, this dude, we used to walk in Safeway. He would take some candy and walk out the store without paying for it, but nobody wasn't trying to hide it or anything. I'm just saying because he had so much swag and sauce about him.
Right.
What was it like growing up in Fillmore?
I mean, Fillmore was a black community. It's one of the first black communities out here in San Francisco. You had Hunters Point, you had Fillmore. You know what I'm saying? And Fillmore was a plethora of black businesses and black entrepreneurships and jazz clubs and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So Fillmore was an awesome place to grow up in, be a part of. You know, all the black greats from Sarah Vaughan, Dizzy Gillespie. You know what I'm saying? Everybody came to Fillmore. Fillmore was known. Fillmore Slim. You know what I mean? So Fillmore produced a plethora of great individuals that you know in our black history, history period, that made the way for people like creatives like you and I. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in Fillmore was a very great experience, black families. A lot of people don't know San Francisco produced black families, whole neighborhoods. I grew up in Haight-Ashbury, Fillmore. Fillmore was, just below Haight Street. So if you came from Haight Street and you was trying to identify with who you wanted to be as far as African American culture, and you went to Fillmore, you know what I'm saying? Haight Street was more of a mixed culture. You know what I'm saying? It was the daisy age. It was the hippie thing. You know what I'm saying? But great people, great families. I grew up Haight-Ashbury and Fillmore with a mix of great people, you know what I'm saying? Robin Williams, you know what I'm saying? San Francisco, you know what I'm saying? Just a plethora of great people that just, that cared about the community. So, and this is before I came to Oakland. So it was my upbringing is what I knew and what I loved. My mom, she did the best that she could. My father, he did the best that he could. And, like I told you, I'm a product of two great humans, and Fillmore is my epicenter, you know what I'm saying? That's home base always, you know what I'm saying? So big shout out to everybody that's still in Fillmore. Fillmore is still there, still active, you know what I'm saying? Big shout out to my man, LaRon, who holds it down tremendously. He's an artist out of Fillmore, but there's a plethora of great artists that come out of Fillmore, California, you know what I'm saying? Just being like, I remember back in my days in Fillmore, I saw the Candy Man. He was a black dude. You know what I'm saying? He had the candy spot. There was black bakeries. There was, the librarian was black, you know what I mean? So, my corner store was black owned, you know what I mean? So, these are things that, we used to have this cat that sat in my neighborhood. His name was David. And he was like the black, he watched out for all the kids. He used to wave at all the buses that rolled by, you know what I mean? Like my high school I went to was probably 70% black.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, San Francisco was great for me.
So how did you say, how did that affect you mentally? Like your environment then, how did that affect you for your present day now?
How did it, like, what happened to me in Fillmore? Fillmore, I called it a shatter block because I was a part of the first generation of crack wave that came through and destroyed black communities. And crack destroyed my community. You know what I'm saying? And it took my mom, which is the backbone of my black family. And then it gave my father the opportunity to become a greater father. You know what I'm saying? So after that situation, which was so tremendous, my mother, I was a spoiled kid. My mother, I was the only man and boy. You know what I'm saying? I had my sister. It was me and her raised, and once I went with my father, that's when I became a man, and that's when it didn't get harder, but life got real. You know what I mean?
Elaborate on that.
I mean, meaning that I gravitated towards the street, even though I grew up. My family is very middle class. You know what I'm saying? So. And I was identified with the streets because that's where I found most of my truth. Like a lot of black men find most of their truth in the streets.
Yeah.
And my street life, you know what I'm saying, it didn't always consist of, the typical black story. Yeah, I grew up selling dope. Yeah, we sold some things. You know what I'm saying? We've been some places that we didn't want to go to. Yeah, jail is not a cool place, but those are not the highlights of my life. Highlights of my life was when I grew up playing tennis.
What?
Yeah, I grew up playing tennis. I was a varsity tennis player and went to college playing tennis on a scholarship that I knew how good
What?
I was. Yeah, for sure. I was different. You know what I mean? I was considered a nerd, a square, but like in my days, I wasn't as popular like the basketball team. So therefore I had to find my way. And I found my love for tennis, you know what I'm saying, through the Arthur Ashe Foundation, out of New York, through my cousin, Malcolm Allen, who was a pro tennis player at the time. So I gravitated towards differently. And then the artistry of Tyranny came to play. You know what I'm saying? And after San Francisco, my father moved to Oakland. And that's when everything I seen different. I seen strong Black families in Oakland. Once things got diminished for me in San Francisco, I came to Oakland. And that's when my eyes got opened. And it was, everybody in Oakland was Black at the time in the early 80s. Everybody was strong.
You know what's crazy about Oakland? I'm sorry to cut you off, but although I'm originally from the South, Mississippi,
Yeah.
I feel, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in my spirit, I feel like a lot of people come from down south that and migrated to Oakland because that Oakland energy gives me like a down south, like I don't like that Black culture vibe. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
the history of it or not.
Man,
but
we
I
all
feel
came from the
connected to
South.
it.
We all came from the South. My parents is from the South. You know what I'm saying? Like 95% of Black people came from the South and settled out here just to get away from the bullshit that's still in the South. You know what I'm saying? The Confederate flag, the things that the Black people saw that was crazy, people migrated. And a lot of things how they migrated was through being in the Army. You know what I'm saying? Coming out to the West Coast, settling in communities, you know what I'm saying? 5-star areas. A lot of people don't know, but there was a 5-star area in every community, meaning that a Black ghetto. You know what I'm saying? The term ghetto don't even mean Black. It really settles from, they built communities around this word ghetto that were for white establishments. You know what I'm saying? So when Black people came out here through the shift of the movement, then things got real serious. And through that movement became the Black movement. They became Black Panthers, which you didn't see in the South at that time.
Right.
But a lot of historical Black Panthers come from the South. And then they came and set up shop right here in Oakland. A lot of people don't know Bruce Lee was set up right here in Oakland.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? The Asian community was very well connected because you didn't hear about Blacktown. You heard about Chinatown. You heard about Little Italy, things like that. But you didn't hear about the word ghetto. It just changed. The word ghetto sometimes meant Black. And it didn't mean good or bad. It just meant the circle of people who you grew up with are now there. In my ghetto, we owned the store. We had schools that were primarily Black. We had Black teachers, you know what I mean? And we still have that, you know what I mean? So, gentrification was real, you know what I'm saying? So that came through, and then they put in our communities called crack, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And if you notice, crack ain't Black, crack is white, you know what I'm saying? So it swept through us like, man, it was like, and because of the mental health, which we didn't call it mental health back then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Called it crazy.
It was called free cheese.
Oh, free
It
cheese.
was called, the cheese line. It was getting, I remember my mom used to bring home cans that just said beef or just said chicken on it, and that fed us for a week. You know what I'm saying? So I come from that area where we didn't have too much and we built it into something, but that's what you call flavor.
That's the thing about flavor. Oakland have that.
Yeah, Oakland definitely has flavor.
Oakland, I don't. So respectfully to hip hop, it didn't, like you said before, it didn't start here, but a lot of sauce come from the Bay Area, right here in Oakland. I have to say that.
Yeah.
Even like I'm from the South, so I remember like Master P coming to the Bay Area to get on. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of sauce here. So speaking of that though, it's a lot of sauce here in the Bay Area, and we're talking about hip hop. Question: how did you become an artist?
I watched my father and my uncle who are artists. My father's a tremendous artist. My uncle is a tremendous artist. Those are the two people that I looked up to. My father can look at something. Man, I remember seeing Architectural Digest in my living room, and my father, like, he's the reason why I'm an artist. It's just because I had parents who were artists and they turned that into a financial situation where they can provide for their family. You know what I'm saying? And being an artist is not an easy road. Once you decide mentally to become an artist, then that's what you need to do to create value for yourself and for your family. You know what I'm saying? So I looked up to a lot of people. My father had jazz in my life, I had reggae in my life. You know what I'm saying? My father was first Rastafarian for the first 12 years of my life. You know
Wow.
what I'm saying? So, when you grow up different, you become different. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just
Repeat.
it wasn't just being black coming from the South, you know what I mean? The SOUF, you know what I mean? Like, we all came from the South if that's the case.
Right.
It's just we evolved.
Right.
We evolved as people. And the South is a beautiful place. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? We have Southern capabilities that carried on, like gumbo and mac and cheese and fried chicken and things that, you know what I'm saying, like gizzards and oxtails. I remember oxtails were $2 a pound. You know what I'm saying? Because now white folks starting out as $13 a pound. You know what I'm saying? But the South really it's home for a lot of us. And in retro respect, Oakland is the West Coast South.
See, that's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah, very much so.
Everybody
I know, grandmama from Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you didn't have them roots, you was a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? It ain't too many first generation, second generation people out here that's saying they don't have no connection. You remember back in the day when going to a black college was like the ultimate thing to go?
Right.
And then once we went to a black college, we couldn't afford it because out-of-state taxes, we had to come back.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? The Grambling, all this, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, the South is
Shout
still
out to the HBCUs.
Oh, man, beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sigmas because I'm one of them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, yeah, big ups, though.
Man, that's what's up, man. So let me just ask you though. So how did you go from being a dope MC, a dope artist, and now you are a dope serial entrepreneur? What made you? What was the point where you said, you know what, it's time for me to transition?
I mean, hip hop taught me to be an entrepreneur. Hip hop, just like it taught you, just like it taught your wife and the beautiful people who chose hip hop as a way of life. Hip hop is a way of life for us. Not just that, but the culture, the way we wear our sneakers, the way we wear our socks, the way we wear our pants. You know what I'm saying? Once we identify with our culture, then we learn how to make it. We learn how to dress the part. Our hair. Look at our hair. Look at the sisters. Look at what we doing. You know what I mean? It's just hip hop taught me about ownership and to be creative. The creativity has never been a problem. The problem has been what white folks have made a decision to how to control your creativity and what you got to do to be successful. Success comes in many different forms. The doctor used to be the barber in the black community back in the day. You used to be able to go to your barber and get everything that you needed and felt good because why? He made you look good. He made you feel good. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? It's just entrepreneurship is a state of mind. It's a being. It's a plethora of great ideas. And now you got technology that just comes in with that gives us more of a reason to understand what we need to become successful.
So what made you say, although I was born and raised in Fillmore, I want to start Winky Dinkies in Oakland, California, the city of pride? What made you say I want this location?
Well, I mean, even before Winky Dinky, we got to go back to my first business was a skateboard company called Kickflip. I own 8 brand businesses in Oakland. And the reason why I chose Oakland because Oakland chose me.
Talk about it.
And that's period. Like, I decided to stay. I could have went to LA after my hip hop career and been like, I'm gonna go to LA. Big shout out to Shamar Moore, who's probably listening to the Big Dog podcast. You know what I'm saying? We need everybody to listen to the Big Dog podcast.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But that was my path when I came to Oakland. It was home. And once you establish home, then you build on top of it. Not just Winky Dinky Dog, a branded, successful hot dog company, but I own Marketing Kings, a successful branding agency. You know what I'm saying? We got Lucky's Barbershop 1, 2, and 3. We got Beast Mode Barbershop. You know what I'm saying? My art gallery, which we're sitting in now doing this podcast.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So Winky Dinky Dog, you know what I'm saying? The Tyranny Allen Gallery. And then my own podcast, unfiltered podcast. You know what I'm saying? But just like watching you.
Can we stop for a
yeah,
second?
for sure.
And please don't forget where you.
Yeah.
Man, this is so inspiring. Like listening to you talk. Shout out to Travell from T's Restaurant right here in Oakland and in Antioch. Because Travell mentioned you.
Yeah.
And what he was saying about you, I was like, I have to meet this guy.
Yeah.
Listening to you say how you have 8 different brands, you're a serial entrepreneur. It just didn't start. You've been putting in work for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
A black man, come from 2 great mom and dad,
mm-hmm.
and for you to turn out to be so inspiring, I just think you deserve a moment just to be like, man, you the truth, man. You the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you probably don't even look at yourself like that most of the time, but we need to see more people like you,
mm-hmm.
because seeing is believing. If I know that Tyranny is doing that, it gives me hope. Growing up, growing up in the hood, you were influenced, like most of us were influenced like by drug dealers.
Mm-hmm.
And, honestly, I was influenced by my father.
Mm-hmm.
Had some sauce learned from the drug dealers, but if I was able to see more people like you coming up, I know for sure that I would have been starting entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been thinking about ownership. I would have been thinking about taking care of everybody that's connected to me, man. So I want to applaud you on that, man. And I'm just grateful to be on side of you right now, man.
It's important. It's important that we support you, you support us, because that's the circle effect. And a lot of people just don't understand what it takes just to be successful. You got to understand, with success comes failures. And you got to understand that having a healthy, sound mind turned inside or out, founded on the facts or the truth, to remain still in existence, to provide the proper channels of success. And that's what life is about for me. And so I have to make way for other entrepreneurs and other people to become successful, because with success comes failures. And you got to understand both. It's love and happiness in every family situation. You're just not going, you know what it's like. You married, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to argue with your wife, but at the end of the day, you're going to maintain to be in love. Love is the key to whatever you want to do. I just chose, and we chose, to do what we love to do and make an economical resource out of it to provide for our families. That's it. The only difference between us and them is that I got it and you don't. That's it. So when I shit on you, I'm going to shit on you, because I don't think no one can get in my way of my success. No one can get in your way of the Big Dog Podcast. You know what I'm saying? The Big Dog Podcast is successful because you and your wife have chose to be consistent with the product. So when you call it sauce from the South, I call it success.
Period. With a capital T.
You know what I mean?
So let me just ask. So Oakland, the city of pride.
Yeah, for sure.
Originally we had a culture of black businesses here.
Yeah.
Now we're in the present day, 2023, and no bipping zone. I saw you on social media, and before I even say that, I had reached out. I was talking to my wife. I was like, why are we turning our face against what's going on in Oakland right now? What's going on in the Bay Area with all of the car theft? Why no one is speaking on that? And I was like, I want to use my platform to be of support, to see how can we come together as a community to put an end to this. I wanted to use my platform. I reached out to a bunch of entrepreneurs right here in Oakland, and you got back with me. I reached out to you. I saw you on social media. You was like, we got to put a stop to this. We have to put a stop to this. I see a lot of businesses starting to close down and lose money now. So when I saw you starting a campaign behind the bipping, I said, I have to reach out, ask him to come on the podcast so we can talk about the no bipping zone right here in Oakland, and what can we do to come together. So what does bipping even mean for those listeners that don't know the terminology of bipping?
Bipping is a term that is basically thievery, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not the fault, it's not a youngster thing. I've seen bippers break into cars and steal shit that are 55 years old. For the reason why they chose to do this, because they might not have it and they chose the easy way out to destroy somebody else's property. So we've taken a measure from the business people like myself, Travell, from Fab, Guapole to MC Hammer, to everybody that's a mainstream person here in Oakland doing some Chris Rochelle, you know what I'm saying? All of us, you know what I mean? My brother from Kanye, black businesses, you know what I'm saying? I don't look at myself as a black business anymore. I'm a businessman, period. You know what I'm saying? So I love the black dollar, but are all my businesses and all my brands supported by black people? No. But it's not a diss. It's just, it is what it is.
Reality.
So when you grow in business, numbers don't lie. We do. So bipping is just another avenue for what people think that they can get over in success. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than stealing from a store or Walgreens and you walk out with a basket, but yet you stealing, but yet security guard can't pop you because of the laws that we created. So we got to change the laws for bipping. You know what I'm saying? So I've taken that into my own hands, just like a lot of people who own businesses, like yourself. Like our cars are parked outside. We're doing this great interview on the Big Dog podcast, but our cars can get broken into.
You know what? You know what's crazy, King? My wife and I, we are always in Oakland. We love Oakland. I was bringing my family to a restaurant out here, and we were just having a good time, a family day outing. And I was at a stoplight, and they had these two gentlemen in they vehicles. I let my wife and kids out, and my oldest son stay with me in the car. So now we at the stoplight, and there are two gentlemen in front of me in their vehicle, and I see them putting their mask on their face. And I told my son, I'm like, check this out. They think they're getting ready to get us as soon as we park the car. So I take a left, and they follow me and get right on side of me. But I'm looking at them in their rearview. They putting the mask on, and I just went the opposite way. What can we do? Because if we don't make Oakland feel safe, it's safe again, we're gonna lose a lot of businesses. So what can we do as a community, as a people, to put an end to this?
You remember when you used to get your ass whooped for doing something bad?
Yeah.
That's what we got to go back to doing, start whooping ass. And it takes by any means necessary. I'm armed, ready to go, ready to fire on, and ready to take care of my community. You had your family with you.
Right.
They followed you, so that right now your big dog senses came alert to protect your family.
For sure.
I have to do the same thing, protect my kids and my family and my women. So therefore, I'm ready to go. The ski mask I'm not afraid of that.
Right.
I'm not afraid that someone else might have a weapon because I have one. A license ready to go. Right. And that's not the end all, but education. You know what I mean? Talking on this podcast saying, hey, bippers, if you choose to be a bipper, let me tell you, you got two ways that you can live or you can die. You know what I'm saying? And that's real talk, because now we are aware of the problem and we're going to address it and we're going to take care of it, just like everything we do in the black community. At one point, we got to stand up for our people and our businesses, because you're right, businesses are closing down. White businesses are closing, brown businesses are closing, Chinese businesses are closing because of the idiot shit that people are doing. And bippers is not just a color thing. You got people white bipping.
Yes.
Let's make it be known.
Yes.
White bippers.
Yes.
Asian bippers. Mexican bippers. Like a bipper it ain't about color.
Right.
You know, even though we created the name, which really comes from the police objective of a name called bipping means stealing. That's where it came from.
I was reading something one day that said in the month of September they had over 52 cars stolen.
Yeah, they did. And that's not even bipping. That's stealing a car.
Yeah.
Bipping is breaking in your car, you know what I mean, while you might be in it. You know what I'm saying? But let me put you like this, bro. Life is about living, and within living, you can die. And if you stand on something and believe in something, I'm letting people know, look, I'm willing to die for something that I believe in and taking care of my community so we can become successful. And if I got to do something to somebody else because of the right thing, then I'm guaranteed it's going to do it. So if you are out there bipping, we got an initiative that was started, and we're putting posters out, a campaign. We having a dialogue, just like you invited me on the Big Dog podcast, the #1 podcast, that we have to have a dialogue and say, what can we do? Well, everybody bipping ain't homeless. Everybody bipping ain't poor. So if you are bipping, understand we are now knowing what you're doing. So now we're going to address it. I came out the other night. They was bipping. I'm ready to go. I just started pointing my gun at the car. Period. Because that's what I had to do. Did they drive off? Yes, they did. Was they armed? Yes, they were. Well, guess what? It's either me or you.
What made you say, you know what, it's time for me to be a representative here in Oakland?
Enough is enough. My car has been broken into over 4 times in the last 2 months. It's cost me $350 every time they break into it. And I couldn't bill a bipper. I had to bill my insurance. So now insurance don't want to pay for nothing now because it's happening so much that boom. So, okay, when are we going to learn? When are we? Because when I say we, I'm only worried about us. And that's a fact. So therefore, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to spank your ass. When I see you, I'm going to just disrespect you. And I'm going to show up at your grandma's house, and then I'm going to spank her ass, and then I'm just going to go ill because let me tell you something, bro.
Old school.
Pain still hurts. And if you giving out pain, like you ain't whooping your kid's ass, you stupid. Your kid is messing up. It ain't all about, I did the talking.
But we don't live in that era anymore.
You crazy. I do. I still whoop my son ass, and he's 6'10". 6'10", freshman in college. I'm looking up to him, Micah, clean your room. Oh, it's on. But that's as fathers, as black men,
talk about that.
We have to police our community. We can't just be the dum-dums and let it go on and be scared. If that's the case, move your ass out to Stockton and everything else so you ain't got to deal with it. Well, I chose to stay in Oakland because I love Oakland, and I love the people of Oakland. You know what I'm saying? And the bippers, I have no remorse at all. I have no remorse for people who disrespect somebody else's property that somebody else has worked very hard for. You know what I mean? I work very hard for my restaurant, for all my brands. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to protect it by any means necessary. Any means. Not, oh, I'm closing down because of bipping. Man, get your soft ass out of here. You wasn't even in business to begin with.
Right.
And I tell business owners like that, if you leaving not because of the financial situation, get out. Because we don't need soft business owners. We need people that's going to stand by the community and raise the community and buy the community. I'm trying to buy everything that I own and everything that I do. If I want to get a haircut, I'm going to my own barbershop because I own it.
Man, you giving me that old school era, man.
I mean, it's new school because I'm an older dude. I'm in my 50s, but I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm coming straight for you, B. I'm running through you so you understand what it takes to be, the pain feel like. You gotta understand, because people, even bippers, even thieves, even when you go to jail, pain still work. Why you think they fighting in jail?
Right.
Because pain work.
So let me ask you though, why does it seem like we're not being supported, like by the city?
No, we are, but we can't blame anybody. You can't blame the white man. That shit has been going on for hundreds of years. You know what? Blame yourself.
Talk about it.
Blame yourself for the reason what's going on in your community and do something about it. I started an initiative called the No Bipping campaign. I started something. So now it's our job to continue that, you know what I'm saying, and not be the only one. I don't want to be the only one saving everybody. If I had 10 Supermans, then that's 10 more people. I can't be the only one to cape and the only one scared. Don't look at me like, for instance, it was bipping the other day, right? I come out, handle my business, but my business neighbor, she's standing there like, and I'm like, you got to get involved. Scream, yell. Dude, I wouldn't let a woman get raped on the street and I'm walking down the street.
Man, you stand for something.
You know what I'm saying? You got to. Because if you don't, we ain't going to have shit. Gentrification going to kick your ass. Your own people going to kick your ass. Well, guess what? I'm kicking ass. I'm going back to where it started and giving people the necessary pain that they need so they can make a decision that's healthy enough to support you and I. We should be able to bring our families out and enjoy life and go to Tees and go to,
Right.
and go to Torch and go to, Chris Rochelle spots and things like that. Go to M2 around the lake, because what's going to happen is, if we all pull out, and I mean we as a collective, if you stop doing your podcast, you doing yourself a disservice.
Right.
Because your service and who you are, those 50,000 people who you got on your numbers are listening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now we need the Facebooks and we need the Instagrams, we need the Twitter people to give money to programming so these kids can stop bipping and find, if you want a job, you want to stop bipping, come get a job at Winky Dinky. I'll pay you $25 an hour, so you ain't got to rob in my car and take a bag that only got some gym clothes in it, and it costs me something to do this. So you know what I'm saying?
So you willing to provide and give money to the bipper the legal way?
I'm willing to kick your ass, bippers, and then give you a job, and then kick your ass again, and then give you a check in 2 weeks, and then kick your ass again. And if you want to bip, then cool. If my son came to me and said, "Oh, Dad, I'm gonna be a bipper,"
and again, it's not a race thing either.
Hell nah, there's white kids too. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Right.
I'm gonna run through you, just like Marshawn Lynch said, who is from Oakland. I'm gonna run through you again,
over
and again, and over and over and over and over. Like the mentality of that. Like I learned from Marshawn Lynch, not just because he's a good friend of mine and a great business partner, but the things he says and he does, like Mr. Fab, the thing he says and he does, like you, the thing you say and what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like I watched you set up your podcast. That's important, because without this podcast, it won't be. Like we won't get the word out. How do we get the word out? Social media is just another monster. It's just no different than TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's just another different channel for people to get out the bullshit. Because now you see so much stuff. Mental health can't handle that. You can't handle the process so fast of what's going on. You overload. And then you decide like what, you ain't getting a job because all you got to do is get up, put a ski mask on, and die. Because that's what's going to happen. If some of you out there, if some of you bippers out here listening right now to the Big Dog Podcast, you can die by the hands of somebody like me. Period.
Reality.
Life.
That's reality.
You know what I'm saying? I love us. I'm always gonna love us, and I stand by us. And if I have to be the one to die, then that's where God's calling, because I'm not boxing with God. I'm boxing with the people who make dumbass decisions to make it harder for us to be successful.
What can we do? You don't mind me calling you big homie?
Yeah, that's cool.
What can we do to support your movement, to support your campaign?
You can go to Tyranny Allen Gallery. You can go to Marketing Kings. You can pick up posters at every business downtown Oakland. I need business districts to support this. We have money that we can buy our own posters. We have money where we can provide security, not just camera security, but let's do business with the FOI, the Muslims. Let's do business with the churches. Let's get the churches and thinking out the way. Let's get everybody together and really cause mass hysteria, you know what I'm saying? And then support these kids. Some of these youngsters who are bipping, they kids. So we have to give them an opportunity, a different objective, a different way out. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Big Dog Podcast. You're hiring for engineers. You're hiring for videographers. If you don't know how to do it, come get a job. We'll pay you.
Right.
Like, we'll pay you. We got money. We balling. The difference between us and them, they not balling like us. So they choosing a lazy way out. Well, guess what? I'm going to beat your motherfucking ass over and over and over and over and over. And yes, I'm strapped. Yes, I got the AR. Yes, I got the 9, the 4.5, 50 cal. Whatever you need, I'm coming through your ass. So therefore, you can understand the pain of a hot lead that's going to burn your skin off, because I chose to do the right thing. And choose to do the right thing. If you bipping, do something great and give the shit back. You don't stole the lady's bag, give it back. I respect you. The first bipper that gives something back to the community and stop bipping, man, you can have a job with me in any one of my companies. And that's real talk. And that's just not glorifying what people are doing because I get it. It's hard out here, right? When we was on the block doing what we wasn't supposed to be doing, but basically I was out there and I don't know what you did, but what I did when I was out there serving cats, that bullshit, I was killing cats. And I've probably killed some people. You know what I'm saying? And every drug dealer in the world, the typical black man story, you don't think that way because you're not actually seeing death, but you serving it. My mom's died off crack. You know what I'm saying? So whoever sold her the drugs is a murderer. You know what I'm saying? So does that make me a murderer because I sold crack at once upon a time? Was I a hustler? I had to escape my environment by any means necessary. But does that glorify the things that I shouldn't have done? Bipping is just another asset, another thing that we know we should not be doing. You get the fuck up, you go to work just like you did. You didn't sell no dope to get this expensive ass podcast equipment. You worked your ass off with your wife and y'all built something that people can see and feel. And it's important that black kids see you as a black man running your own production company. I did my homework just like you did. I saw your numbers. So now I need you to get 100,000. I need Shamar Moore. I need Marshawn Lynch to be on this. I need Fab to be on this. I need everybody in Oakland who's a success to be on the Big Dog podcast so it helps you in return so people can see that. And it's important that we support you and everything else that you do. And the bipping is just small. If you want to support the bipping, you can reach me direct at any channel, anywhere out here.
Give your social media account.
Yeah, Tyranny Allen, Marketing Kings. Just Google Marketing Kings. If you want to do that, Google Tyranny Allen. You'll find me. Find me. I'm not hard to find. You know what I'm saying? Marshawn Lynch is not hard to find. You know, Mr. Fab is not hard to find. You are not hard to find. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the biggest thing that we have is these cell phones that we can just. But now mental health plays in the play where we're looking at too much bullshit too fast. So therefore it's breaking down. People are now like, oh, I learned how to steal a car from YouTube. Well, then YouTube is to blame. But you're not seeing companies suing the big companies. You know what I'm saying? But they'll report it, right? They'll report it and you see the bullshit. And so therefore it's the kids that's looking at the YouTube channel now like, oh, I ain't gotta work. Oh, I can sell pussy instead of going to get a job. Because I'm fine, or I could charge to get in the club now, or I can go out with you and ask you to pay for the, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
I'm just grateful for your realness and rawness.
Yeah.
You know, because we don't talk like this.
Yeah. I'm uncut.
This is and that's
I'm unfiltered.
And that's what we need. This is how you're talking, how you're speaking, and what you're standing on. This is exactly how we need. You know, it just seemed like direct communication it's not present anymore. Realness is not present anymore. And at the end of the day, this podcast is all about standing for something, or you know, because we're not falling for anything. You know what I mean? So, what is one takeaway that we can give to the listeners before we get out of here?
Support the Big Dog podcast. That's the
Big Dog Talk podcast.
That's the first thing that came to my mind, because if we support you, your platform grow, then we can be like, damn, he did it. And then they're going to be asking you, can I get $1? You know what I'm saying?
I can teach you, though.
Yeah, I'm going to show you. If you want a job, Marketing Kings, Art Gallery, everything that you need to be around is going to be available for you. You know what I'm saying? So we're giving you the access. We're giving you the lane so you guys can be great humans. You know what I'm saying?
And this is what it looked like when you see us coming together. This is what it looks like when you see us supporting one another. This is what it looked like. At the end of the day, Big Dog Talk podcast is here to serve our community. Tyranny, the serial entrepreneur, is here to serve the community. We have other leaders around here that's here to serve. And this is what it looked like. Yay area.
Yeah.
Go to Big Dog Talk podcast. You know what? I need y'all to do something for me. Go to Big Dog Talk podcast YouTube channel and hit subscribe. Go to all social media platforms, Big Dog Talk _podcast, and hit like. But what I need you to do mostly is to share this episode.
Boom. Share it.
It doesn't take anything to just hit share. share this, make this go viral. Everybody in the Bay Area, you should hit share, tag a friend, tell a friend. You should be excited to share this. Because if you're not a part of the solution, then you are part of the
problem. And if you part of the problem, we gunning your ass. Big dog. Yo, hey, put it when you edit this, put over our faces, do subscribe right here on our face. Look. We need everybody to support this. It's a movement, man. Not just the No Bipping Zone, not just Marketing Kings, not just your podcast or my podcast, but we need everybody to support everything that we're doing. You know, because there's a plethora of great Black entrepreneurs here in Oakland, California. You know what I'm saying? That's beautiful, man. And big shout out to JaVale. Thank you, brother. I love you. Let's talk soon. And you know, and that's it, man. My name is Tyranny Allen, and thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, King.
Always.
Pleasure.